Gonna call this part 2. And which one do you guys want to talk about now? I've got the top 3 builds from the actual World Finals. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Do you want to go 3, 2, 1? That makes sense.
Sounds fair to me, David. I'm going to assume it sounds fair to him, too.
David?
I said sounds good.
Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Sounds like your microphone was cutting out. But, all right. Next up on the chopping block. Another one. This was my day 3 list, or my finals list. I didn't really have anything neat to call, so I just called it my Borg. Because it's got Madred, and it's Borg.
Look at my Borg. My Borg are amazing.
Originally, I wanted Captain Gul Madred with Lenalis so I could potentially gank 2 captains. I don't think that ended up hurting me too much, and in the end, all things considered. But we went ahead and went with 2 Borg Spheres and a Science Vessel again. This is starting to become my hallmark, or trademark, I guess. We have Luron with Admiral Madred and a Breen
That
Aid.
was my idea.
Ignore these numbers right here. Breen Aid should be 0 and Madred should be 4 because Space Dock does math weird sometimes. And of course,
Space Dock thinks Madred is an upgrade.
yeah. And of course, the magnetic charges, which are omnipresent in all of our lovely, lovely builds. Let's see. Do I have my chat up? Oops. Get my chat back up here. We've got the Borg Sphere with Stargazer Picard, which I have been playing with for quite a bit. Tried him out on day 1, brought him back here for the finals. And magnetic charges for himself as well. And we've got the Romulan Science Vessel. We are going with Martok. He does not have the Fleet Captain on him this time. Movement Fleet Captain was something I tried on day 1. Lost to Khan Movement Fleet Captain in both the winning builds, so better not to waste time. Cloaked Mines, and I brought Quark along with Disruptor Beams just in case I needed a little extra output, generally against fighters of some sort. And Officer Exchange Program, so I could fit everything in there, especially Admiral Gul Madred, because if there was one thing I saw, it's that disruption was going to be important, especially against the stronger competitors that I was rooming with, and were relying very heavily on captains.
And fleet captains.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So really the idea with this was kind of just sit around the planet, kind of let him come to me, and get into a good position with Martok in the rear, the spheres in front, and the cloaked mines covering one of the flanks so that they force him to go one way or the other. I don't really need that many actions early on, so Gul Madred is basically free whenever I have the opportunity to use him, especially with Martok, because depending on whatever position we're in, either Martok, one sphere, or the other sphere, whatever's closest, I can use the fleet action and get Madred to get his shot off on the enemy captain, and generally hope that they don't roll battle stations. This worked in all of my other games pretty well. I think I missed a higher level captain once on the first try and got him on the second try. But when it came to the World Championship, I missed twice in a row, and that I think was what was the finishing blow to my build.
I thought you missed like 3 times.
No, it's only 2.
Mm.
Unless you count the ones that we missed from being out of range. But he rolled the dice twice, and both times he got his 1 battle station, and that kept Khan alive to keep giving out those extra fleet captain maneuvers. Apart from that, though, this thing took apart pretty much everything else that got thrown at it. The extra movement from Jean-Luc Picard was really good, especially against damaged fighters or anything that was running at less skill than Martok. Also helped me charge forward and do shenanigans against people that were running cloaked mines but not a lot of offense, like the day 1 6 cloaked mine build. And I mean, basically having at least 1 sphere with extra movement was what got a lot of flanks and a lot of damage. Like that that was the main reason I was able to take out the fighters in the top 4 match.
I still say I would have taken Chakotay first.
Chakotay will not get you across the planet.
But Picard makes you disable all your shields, and that bit you a couple times.
When?
I don't...
It never killed Picard, and I never got a crit that I couldn't deal with. In fact, it gave me a reason to regenerate. If I ever needed it.
Didn't you say in your write-up that one time you had a sphere blow up to warp core breach?
I did, and that was Luaron. It was not Picard.
I think that happened on the first roll anyway.
Yeah. But
well,
the big thing here, of course, is that you don't use Jean-Luc if you're going to get shot at.
Well, yeah.
There are plenty of opportunities that there are going to be nothing in the facing the right direction if you can do a 4 forward and another 4 forward. They can't be facing the same. They can't be facing you every time, all the time. If you have that long of a range.
Unless they have multiple ships.
And there was still never a point where they were all. And if they have multiple ships, I don't Picard.
Okay, all right. God, be that way.
Yeah. This build has better ways of dealing with larger movement radiuses than it has of dealing with the aux power that Chakotay forces on you.
That's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. What else do I say about this build? Do you guys have any questions about what I run in here?
I mean, I'll tell people a hilarious story. I mean, I look, you and I sat there for like 2 hours Saturday morning trying to figure out a way to make this build better, and we couldn't think of one.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I don't really have much to improve on. I just want to say to everybody who's wondering, the reason he didn't go with Lenalis is he forgot it in the hotel room and then couldn't find it.
Mm.
And then he found it later. It was really funny.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
In all my matches, it didn't really matter much because getting only 1 kill was fine enough, and using it as a fleet action to get the extra range worked out all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, his plan originally was to run Madred as the captain on that ship, and I'm like, now hold on a second. You have 1 point to spare on that ship. You can run Luarin with Officer Exchange and run Breenade for free. And he's like, oh, that sounds good. And I'm like, yeah, because you can scan and get quality for your MGCs. I was proud of that.
It was actually still buried in my Lenalis was still buried in my card box.
Yeah.
Auto or crypt fun.
Oh, and he had to borrow I had to find like copies of Luarin and Breenade from other people who were there because he didn't bring either of them.
There's so many things that you like. You can only bring so much fit in your box for on a plane in a suitcase, and then there's only so much you can bring to the tournament without weighing yourself down. So these were the cards some of these were the cards that got culled. Like I even had to borrow Lamech for the day 2 build because I didn't bring him in my suitcase because I'm like, when am I ever going to run Lamech?
Yeah, I liked him, right?
Tucker likes him. It can't be that good, right?
Yeah, I remember not particularly liking him. Now I'm a bigger fan.
Yeah, it turns out with Madred, he's kind of amazing.
Yeah, with Madred.
We've got some synergy. Dominion synergy. And they even came in the same pack. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like the designers were thinking of something like this.
Shocking.
Nah.
Oh, for Star Trek.
Don't give him too much credit now.
Alright, so I think we're good for my Borg. I think he definitely could have gone all the way. It was definitely, though, better suited to try and snipe something off of Peter's build than it was to try to stand up to Joseph's straight-up attack, especially with the point values.
So, I mean, seriously, if you had gotten Khan, I mean, that literally would have been the win right there. Like, it is, you know, because the thing is, one of the things that was really interesting about watching Worlds and doing coverage was many games, I would say about 70 to 80% of the games I saw were not close. Like, one build just wrecked the other build. This was, in my opinion, easily the closest match at Worlds, was Will versus Joseph in the semis.
71 points to 72 points.
Well, not even just on the points. Like, there were so many times when, like, one thing going differently could have changed everything.
Oh yeah, and that'll teach me to put the planet a little too close to the edge to try and hinder my opponent's movement, and then end up hindering my own. Because if I had managed to pull off a Sensor Echo 2 with Martok, he would have been out of range.
Mm-hmm.
Live and learn.
I mean, you have the photos of that round. Did you look and see if you could have fit a 2 Sensor Echo?
After I did it, I'm pretty sure I could not have.
Okay.
But I didn't actually physically check it, so.
Well, I mean, you should be able to determine it from the photos just because you know the size of things.
Mm-hmm. I have to check to see if I have that one. But yeah. Moving on, we have our second place build that made a wonderful surprise appearance, and I was fully happy to see it. We had bioships. Who brings bioships, man? You gotta be one crazy guy to bring bioships.
Or
am I right? But yes, bioships took second place, and it was a solid all-around list. We got bioship with Jean-Luc Picard and the actual full no expenses spared, full point cost Admiral Forrest to help him out. Managed to fit for 49 points. Second bioship with Khan and the Independent Federation Fleet Captain. Being on a bioship and at 120 points meant he lost initiative more often than not, and was the main factor in me possibly considering going with a Regent's flagship.
By the way, I should point out, this is Gen Con, which is critical.
Yep. Always has the highest captain skill.
Well, it's not. I mean, the other amusing thing was that one very interesting thing is that Will had no captains. I mean, I guess Lamech plus Madrid is 7, right? Is that right?
Something like that. With Officer Exchange, I think it was 6.
Yeah, you're right. It's 6. So Will had no captains above skill 6, but Gen Con's text made it so that his base skill plus the 1 from the fleet captain was just enough to put him where Madrid had to roll for it. That was a huge deal.
Although Khan is 9 because of Picard, or 10 because of Picard.
He was running a slightly different build in day 1, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, see, but that's true even if Picard's bioship dies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see. Brought along Rebellions for an extra attack if you got attacked by something with a higher hull, which I guess with spheres becoming popular and running around, thanks to me and Peter, that came in really handy.
Well, also because scimitars.
Oh yeah, there was that too.
I mean, yeah, the bioship. The thing about the bioship is it was, I think, it and Voyager came out at the same time. They were the first ships we had with higher shields than hull in the unique. So the interesting thing about the bioship, it's high durability, but it only has a hull value of 5. So there are a lot of ships that actually have, any of the Derridex for that matter, would have a higher hull than a bioship.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, you got to fit in cloaked mines, or else you get too easily wrecked by double fighter builds. And the fighters he elected to bring along with him for more firepower were the generic Hidekis with photo lock-on, because that's all the points he had left. Then again, his main ships being worth 49 points and most other people's being worth less than that gave him a little bit a little bit of an edge, kind of quite a bit of an edge in the tiebreaker departments when you had to determine what you had to kill to win. But the thing I'm most worried about this build is I don't see how this necessarily would have gotten by like high attack 2 ship 2 fighter builds.
Honestly, I think Joseph's piloting would have been what done that. Like, Joseph is probably one of the best pilots I've seen, and I've seen some damn good pilots in this game.
Mm-hmm. He's very meticulous with measuring. You know, he has that range ruler stick out before every single maneuver.
He does, not in a cheating by checking templates way, but he is constantly thinking about. I have a photo of him and somebody else. I forget who it is. No, he didn't play Peter. I forget who it is. Him versus somebody else, and they're placing cloaked mines, and it took him about 5 minutes to find the exact correct placement. But that's the kind of guy he is, and the fact of the matter is, I think his plan against two ships, 2 fighters is set up a planet to block them, and then make them fly around and try to hit them from behind.
Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, with the extra, even though their bioships aren't particularly fast, getting an extra movement on each of them is really speedy.
It's true. Though, sorry, I will say one more thing. There was only 1 2 fighter build day 1, and I don't think there were any day 2 of the qualifiers, and I didn't see any at Worlds. Now, I may have missed some, but two fighter, 2 ships. I think it was Curtis Freeman, I want to say, that ran 2 scimitars, 2 fighters, and that was it. Like, we didn't see that anywhere else.
Yeah. But yeah, lots of offense. It's got decent defense, big hull and shield. You know, 11 hit points on each of his 10 hit points on each of his ships, which is nothing to sneeze at. Not quite the 13 or 14 of Borg, but with the defense dice, it could definitely help.
Can regenerate. People tend to forget that about Species 8472 is they also have the regenerate action.
Oh yeah, and it wouldn't be too hard for them to get out of range, especially for like if you get off the double extra maneuver on them from both Forrest and Khan, or Forrest and the fleet captain. But I would have liked to see. I would have liked to try this build up against the boosted magnetic charges build.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the boosted magnetic charges one. I had the additional movement one day 1, which he, of course, could outmaneuver me with Khan going last. And day 2, the outmaneuvering wasn't as big a factor as much as eventually he had to go in, and that was when I was going to have the chance to Madrid, and Madrid ended up not getting it done.
That's why it's a dice game.
It's a dice game again. It's ridiculous. That's cool. There is one other major glaring flaw in this build, and I will come back to that once we also go after Peter's guild, because this was a problem that both of their builds had.
It'd be interesting to hear it, because I can't think of a problem they'd have in common. But
Alright, so last up on the list, we have, for lack of a better title, I just called it Sniper Khan. Because the way Peter ran this, well, it is a Dreadnought Queen Vessel Prime.
Shuttlenaught, just to be clear.
There we go. Shuttlenaught Queen Vessel Prime. But really the big contender here is Khan on the Scout Cube. That causes the most problems.
Man, you look at that Scout Cube and you think, that is not a big deal. Oh my god, that thing was terrifying.
It's got like 3 extra things that I can pitch for no good reason, whatever.
Sorry, just to clarify, Scout 608, the one where you can discard an upgrade to get extra movement.
That is correct. So the full list, just so we're complete about here, is Queen Vessel Prime with just a basic drone, Brunt, and Cloaked Mines. 48 points, already has all the stuff. Also gets the stuff from the Sakharov, which is Wayun, Romulan Pilot, and Quark, who's also carrying Cloaked Mines. So he's got 2 Cloaked Mines in the build.
And as Peter discovered, if you take the Sakharov off the stand and put it in the Queen Vessel Prime just so, the little peg at the bottom that you use to put it on the stand can cause it to stay in the Queen Vessel Prime as it pokes out the front. It's really hilarious looking.
And then we have Gen Con's Scout 608. Gen Con, of course, having the Independent Federation Fleet Captain, Rebellion, because going up against big Borg ships, or even big, on a Scout Cube, any ship, was the flavor of the day. Dispersion Field to protect his things. Sakona for free stuff. Improved deflector screens, big deal, especially against magnetometric charges. Aft phaser emitter for discarding for free movement. Tactical station to improve his magnetic charges, and magnetic charges because magnetic charges are awesome.
And Sakona also gives you, she's a free thing to pitch, and she gives you another slot for a free thing to pitch. I mean, by paying, and he had so many other weapons upgrades, including tactical station, that Sakona basically paid for herself and gave him the aft phaser emitter for free. So that's 2 free moves right there.
Mm-hmm. Queen Vessel Prime assimilates the shuttle.
Yeah, and you can pitch Sakona.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sakona's a pitch. Her weapon she brings along is a pitch.
Dispersion Field is usually going to be a pitch.
Mm-hmm. And Scout 608, not something I really paid attention to as much in day 2, but found out the hard way. Its ability is not an action in any way, shape, or form, and it allows you to take green maneuvers, which could get you your actions back. So the main way that he caught me off guard with that is he did a 3 red reverse. Pitched a card and did another 2 red reverse, or a 2 white reverse with the Scout Cube to get, like, total 6 reverse. Like, there is no other ship in the game that can do a 6 reverse.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, I guess, well, I mean, okay, Chakotay on, I think Queen Vessel Prime could get you a 6 reverse, but that's it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and not just that. I mean, what he could do is, I mean, he could do a ridiculous thing like that, and then he could do a 1 forward from Khan and get his actions back.
Not a 1 forward from Khan. That's only white maneuvers, but
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
But at any other point, he could pitch 1 for a green maneuver and get rid of the power tokens, because there's really nothing that stops the Scout Cube's ability.
Right, and also the interesting thing is, it's an after you move effect in the same way that the Indy Fleet Captain is an after you move effect, which meant Peter could order them any way he wanted, and he abused the hell out of that. I mean, there were times where you'd think the Scout Cube wasn't in range. It's like, oh, there's no way the Scout Cube's going to be able to grant that movement. Do a 1 spin, get discard to get a 3 forward from the Scout Cube. Bam, you're in range to grant that movement now. It's nuts. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean that was half the fun that I was doing with my day 1 build, is between Martok and Fleet Captain I could move Martok into range, or I could move someone else to get into range of Martok, things like that. That with Stargazer Picard I could give something a move, an action, and another move that was huge and gigantic, and that's so much fun. And yeah, he has a little bit of combination here. You know, the Queen Vessel Prime with Wayun and Romulan Pilot is great for just, you know, backing up and going forward and just staying completely still in space as long as he wants.
Not just that, it gives you the free scan token, which works with the QVP's ability. I mean, if he wanted to, with a set of mag charges, he had the option of rolling up to 6 attack dice.
Yep, and he did that once. Just to guarantee that he got my little science vessel. It was very sad. My poor science vessel exploded very quickly.
That was on day 2.
That was on day 2, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and the thing is, it's such a good tactic against science vessels because Will and many other people who use the science vessel are relying on sensor echo to keep them out of range, which means they have to be cloaked. But MGCs just punch right through that.
And the main protection being, you know, stay out of range, but going 6 forward or backwards or sideways, or there's lots of cool choices. And it's loads of fun.
Don't think you could go 6 sideways.
Yeah, you get close.
Maybe with Khan. I think it'd be about a 5 sideways if you
if you did a forward and a turn and another forward. Things like that.
Oh no, I was thinking a spin and then scout cube to go forward 3 and then Khan to go forward 1. That'd get you about 6, I think.
Yep. So much maneuverability. It's delicious. But yeah, Fleet Captain Independent Federation made a huge debut on the world stage. And definitely not something I would ever regret running. Like, I'm one of the people that has been advocating for its use for a very long time. Especially since they finally ruled that you can do maneuvers that aren't on your dial, which is silly and ridiculous.
God, yeah. So somebody obviously after Worlds there was talk about, so what's broken now and what needs to be banned now, and the answer is nothing really. I mean, Worlds was very fair. There was nothing that's dominated, and as I said, the only thing you could really do to nerf any of the well-scoring bills at this point is revoke that ruling, and I don't think they're going to do that.
Changing their minds on a ruling. That's never happened before. Yes. So that is actually all the builds. And now I'm going to go over, for part 3, I want to go over the major glaring flaw that I saw. And I'm sure you will smack yourself in the head as soon as you realize it.